Today we're at my house installing interior doors. I'll take you through the whole process of replacing existing interior doors. We'll size the doors, cut matching hinge pockets, pull holes for Locksets, paint and install them today on Matt's DIY Home Show. I hung them, they're nice, they need to be painted. They've been hanging like this for 2 years now. And then we also have some doors that are like this one, that are the original door. So what I need to do is I need to fit that door, and we also need a door here. And then we need to spray all of these doors. We're back in the shop today because it is super cold outside, so I've waited almost a week to try and do these doors, cut the door hinges and do all that sort of stuff that I need to do outside. It didn't work out, so then I had the brainwave that I should probably just come into the shop and do this. It's only about 5 minutes away to my parents' place, and then that way I don't have to do it outside because we have a heater in the corner that makes it decently nice to work here in the winter. So I have 2 doors that I need to match and cut. So this is for the linen closet, haven't finished it off, so I have a door that I'm just going to duplicate. The hinge placements are going to be equal. I am not going to cut the handle openings for these here. I'm going to do them in place. It's a lot easier to match what you already have. The only other change I'm going to make is a lot of these doors stuck. But what I'm going to do to help alleviate some of that is to alleviate the sticking when it closes, is to put a bevel onto the handle side so that when it shuts, this back side of the door is going to be slightly narrower than the front side. So we have that door, and then we also have the boys' bathroom door. This is a solid core door, so it's super heavy, but we prefer those because then it keeps the noise down, and if you ever had a fire, it's fire rated. So first thing you got to do is pull the hardware off, because it gets in the way. So what you need to do is as much struggling as possible. So I've pretty much scripted this screw head. So I got it, nice. So this is the front face of the door here. So this is the front face. So one thing to be aware of is use pencil. Especially with spray lacquers, your pen will bleed through the paint and it'll lift it constantly up through it, especially water-based paints, unless you spray a sealer, which I'm not doing with these doors because they're already primed. And my lacquer is a self-sealer. So be aware of that. This is the front of my door. This is the back of my door. Instead of doing a bunch of measuring, all I do on this is I'm gonna line these up, clamps here. I can already see, based on how this is, that this door is actually narrower than this door. So what I do is I line up the tops. That's what actually matters. But I'm gonna end up cutting this bottom. So this door was put in on carpet, which is gonna be, even with the pad and the carpet, is gonna be a little bit shallower than the hardwood that I have. So I am just gonna take a rote amount off the bottom of this. I'll probably just take 3/4 of an inch off the bottom of this. You do want some gap, at least for those of us with central heating. You do want a little bit of the gap at the bottom of the doors. Otherwise, what you're going to find if they're too tight is often rooms don't have cold air returns, so it doesn't allow the forced air from the furnace to return back to the cold air returns that are in hallways. So you want to make sure that you have enough gap at the bottom here, otherwise your room will stay cold because the furnace can't push the air into a room if it gets pressurized. This is all lined up here, so I'm just going to use one of the sliding bevel T-squares. On some of these doors, what I did do is check them before I pulled them off to make sure that they weren't touching the tops, because that happens too, is your door opening as a square will get crooked as the house settles, and then one side or the other of these will hit. So I'll probably test fit these before I paint them, just in case. So what I do, this is how I do it. I line it up. I make sure that this square is on the outside of the jamb, or of the hinge pocket, and then I mark it. So I put a mark there. And the reason that I do that is you need to make sure it's the same. If I do this and then go over here and put another mark here, I will actually shift this hinge just from the width of the pencil. You put your square on here, you line it up, make sure you're on the edge. You're gonna do a mark here. Then I'm gonna flip it over, come to this side, bring it to the edge of the hinge pocket, and then I'm gonna do a mark here. Unless I'm paying attention a lot, I don't actually know which side the hinge pocket goes to. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do this, put a line here, and then mark. But it just gives me a visualization of what I'm gonna do. And I'll quickly do that on the other side. All right, so here's what I'm gonna use to router these out. Nothing special. It has a fixture here. There's different inserts depending on the size of the door, and it comes with a drill bit. So the problem with this jig is it tells you, put it as a plate door, set it up here, and router it. If you do that, you can see a gap there at the back. It actually cuts straight through this door, even though this is a 1 3/4 inch door. So these stops that they have on here are actually not the right size. So what I figured out is that I need an extra 1/8 inch. So I have a little piece of jam here that I cut at an 1/8 inch that I put between the back stops and the door. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like anyone sells good jigs anymore. Back when I worked at the cabinet shop, what I used was a set of Porter cable ones that came on a rail, so that what you could do is you could set up to 3 hinges on a door, router the door, and then take that hinge jig, put it on the jam, and router the jam all at once. And it was amazing, but it doesn't look like they sell it anymore. And it doesn't look like anyone sells anything comparable to that. So I don't even really have a good recommendation for a hinge jig because they all suck. And the people that I know that do it professionally, they just make their own hinge jigs for a job out of just 3/4 inch plywood. And it doesn't work if you're trying to match doors. My wood piece here, I'm going to take my hinge, I'm going to put a mark on the back side. I'm using a scrap piece of wood that I marked the hinge depth on to set the router bit depth. The goal is to have the hinge flush. This template jig then attaches to the door with screws. I'll have to fill the holes later. I then router out the hinge pocket by following the jig. I find it works best to do a very slight pass at the front of the door first to stop the wood from tearing out as badly. I then just whittle away at the hinge pocket. You can see the line there. It's pretty much in line with there. Same thing on the other side. So we might be like a 64th off or something like that, but we're good. These little trim routers are pretty good for this. The only problem is this base needs to probably be an inch larger to easily ride on this. You have to be a little bit careful. Okay, so I'm gonna get all of these done. I'll get the other door laid up and done. I'll see you afterwards. Door, looking outside, it's my later. Okay, so here's where you need to pay attention. So I lined up this top. If I come down here to the bottom, this wood door is a little bit, probably a 1/16 of an inch, tapered at this side versus that side. So I'm gonna take my pencil and I'm gonna do a bit of a mark there. So one reason this jig sucks is because it leaves these giant holes. But what I do is just fill those with drywall filler. So the way to do this is you need to set your hinge side down, because what we're gonna have to do on this side is we're gonna cut the taper like this. What we essentially want is like a 1/16 of an inch off here and nothing off here. All right, so I laid the door back on it. So I lined up that edge. I lined up this edge, those are good. What we have here is we need to actually take this entire bevel off this door. So we're gonna go to there, and then this door is actually narrower than this door. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna measure that rather than mark it with the door, but it looks like looks like an 1/8. I'm gonna take this, that's 23 quarters plus. Grab my short track. Lay it here. Three-quarters plus. That's. I don't want much, so I'm just going to do. All right, so this door is cut. This is good. I'm going to lean this up against the garage door, which is death for doing things in garages where you're not the only person that uses them, because someone can open the door. Second door. All right, this door is done. I'm just gonna do a little bit of sanding on these. All machined up, all ready to go. All right, so I got the doors back, got them upstairs. Stick the hinges in here, and then I'm gonna use a drill bit. All right, got them all drilled. So the smart way of doing this is to actually take these hinges off, fit them on, and then you can put them back on afterwards. But the non-smart way of doing it is this way, which is you just kind of lean the door up and then drive one screw into it. Hold, please. So now for a vastly superior screw. So we'll take a look at it in here. So I shot it. That gap is pretty small. This gap is way wider, so I'm going to space that off. So this is why you back cut it, so that it has clearance in there as it shuts. So what we're going to do now is we're going to mark out the jambs here. I do this door, piece of tape, pencil. I just come in here and mark the center. I'm just transferring that mark across. You take the Home Depot jig, slide it on the door, make sure it's set. I set it with the line right in the center here. One just has a screw that you, 2 hole saws, latch, and then one for the hole for the handle, and they fit and ride in here. So I like to drill the small hole first. So I'm getting in the middle. Point, you can see the plug in here. I need to knock this plug out. Otherwise, you can see the lovely, ugly color of these walls. This has a pilot on it. I do a little bit of side-to-side wiggle. So that side. You can see the little area there where it poked through. I'm going to go back to this side. You double cut it from both sides. You don't have to pull the plug out. Nice cut on this side. Here, I'll fill that hole. I'll vacuum this all up, and then this door can come off, and then it can go in the spray booth and get sprayed. So what I thought you'd show you is where we're doing all this spraying. So I have everything set up in here. I have my spray gun. I'm spraying the water base. This isn't too bad actually, it's all goopy at the bottom. So this is why you mix it. Because that's all the solids of this lacquer out at the bottom. Oh no! It's not great to drop your tools in the paint. Okay. So what I have is I have an explosion proof fan that I use, and then I have a really big hose that I run outside. Sanders, I bought a new pack of strainers, a new pack of pre-filters for my respirator, because this is a little clogged up, and they don't work too well when they're clogged up. The first thing you do when spraying is to download the technical data sheet, or TDS, for your paint. This sheet lists everything you need to know to spray that paint. They are invaluable, and when I've followed them, spraying has always worked out great. I'm giving it another mix. I can decant some of it into this. 3, 2, 1. First, strainer cup to stop your gun from getting all clogged up. And what you're looking for is to dump this in, straining through. My hair is covered because what will end up happening is even with the overspray, it gets in your hair and then it's gross to wash out. Get my fan on. Spraying is very satisfying for me. It is a balancing act between putting too little on and having a dry patch, or putting too much on and getting runs and sags. I haven't mastered it, but I've gotten pretty good. So I threw it in. What I'm looking for is an even shine. This will get sanded. It'll get three coats. So let the fan run for probably 2 minutes here. Get most of this overspray clouded out. It dries so fast that it won't stick to anything. All right, we're half an hour in right now, so let's take a look. And I made a mess. So I had a big sag here all the way across. I used the trick where you kind of fold over a piece of tape. And then what you can do is go to the run when it's still wet, and you just dab it like this, and it pulls it off. It makes it look ugly, but it makes it way easier to sand down. So I'll fix that. This door looks nice. I'm happy with it. So I'm gonna sand these out, and then I'll get started on the next coat. All right, let's take a look at these. So that's looking actually pretty good here, where the run was. The sag was. I got it all filled in. You can kind of see it still. But I was really light with the finish on it. You guys probably can't even see it. Actually, you can. You can see kind of the feather right there. So right now it's just a gloss difference. How did I do on the rest of it? It looks pretty tidy. So this is about, I don't know, twice the glossiness of what it'll end up once it's fully dry. So there's a 25 sheen. So you can actually nicely see the gloss there as I move it up and down. So this will matte down quite a bit still, but it actually is quite nice. I'm liking it. These doors keep the orange peel texture just because of the wood that they are. We'll give this another 15-20 minutes to dry. I'll sand it back. It'll be the third coat. Give it another half an hour, then I'll be able to flip them, give the other side a quick sand, and spray 3 coats on that side. I'm going to speed through the last coats and then the back side of the doors. I wanted to take the time here to say thanks for watching my video. I really appreciate it. It would mean a lot to me if you'd hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, since I have tons more work to do to this house, and I like sharing it with you guys. All right, let's get these hinges mounted. So they're relatively inexpensive. The doors that I put them on, they work really well and they are super stiff. So I need to knock the pins out of these ones. Pull the pins out. Pin can go there. It works fine. Since these hinges are so stiff, I need to lubricate them before I put them on the door. I had some bike chain lube around and just used that. At the top. So that's how you oil them. Not really that big a deal. I then screw one hinge onto the jamb and the other into the door. I'll show more detail on the closet door. Which side needs to be in? Side should I? Now, you learn how to do this by yourself all the time, because if you're doing DIY stuff, this is super heavy because it's a hollow core, solid core door. So you pick, do you want the top in first or the bottom? I find it, oh, you suck. Self-dropping pins. I find it usually easier to do the bottom first. So I'm gonna do the top first. So I just stuck my finger under that. Get your pin in the first position. Go find the other pin that went walkabout. There we go. It's a lot like a door. Swings easily. That looks way better than what it was before. All right, so hinge in place. I'm gonna mark the center of these holes. Drill bit is a center, or bit is a center punch. 3/16. Thing. It's working. It's screwed all over the place, but you know. Get a full distance. So you'll see I'm not hitting this with the impact. I don't want to blow these holes out, or these threads out. Got my pins. Got my door. Doing the top one first this time, because, you know, hashtag goals. Jam it in. Pin in. That looks nice. I'm happy with that. So I'm gonna go grab the Locksets. We'll get those installed and then that'll be it for today. So I was about to give you a big lecture on buying door handles because I've done this a couple times. and what the different types were, and to make sure that when you buy door handles for your project, buy them for every door in your entire place because they do get rid of styles. So on this one, we bought all of them for the entire place, and I found out we didn't at all. So there's 3 different types of door handles when you buy these. One is a passage. That's ones that just open. There's no lock on them at all. Then there's privacy. Those are what you want for your bathrooms. And then there's ones for doors like this and this that aren't actual doors per se. This is just a cabinet door. And this one is just a double door that has a bolt up at the top so that only this door opens. So I needed a dummy one for here, which I don't have. I don't know why I don't have it. And I have a passage one for the boys' bathroom, which really should have a privacy one on it. Now, at the age the boys are, we don't really want a privacy one on it because they'll lock themselves in the room. So I'll put one of the passage ones on the bathroom. I have a second passage one that I have no idea what it's supposed to go on. This is the worst part of home reno projects when you screw this up. Because now I'm probably going to be a couple weeks out doing this because none of these were in stock at any Home Depots. We had to order them. I guess I'll just bite the bullet and pay the shipping and get them delivered so that I don't have to bother. All right, well, we'll install this one on the boys' bathroom, and we don't get to install one on here because this one's actually nice.
There's nothing special about putting on lock sets. The only trick is to look for set screws to take the handles off. It makes putting the long screws in much easier. I've never tried to do it without doing that. Nope, never. I suppose if you read the instructions, it would tell you that, though.
Stop slamming the doors. Doors.
I went online and tried to find the Wickham handles, which are these. I could not find any anywhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these lock sets apart, and then I am going to attach half of it here with screws. Okay, I decided I'm just going to drill this jam.
Since I couldn't find the dummy handle that's supposed to go on this door, I'm just going to fully drill this door for the lock set. I need to be extremely careful here since this door is already painted. That's why I'm not using the jig for this job, since I would have to patch and touch up the screw holes. If the hole saw wanders and scars up the door, which they love to do, to fix it I would have to repaint the entire door. So I was really nervous. We'll get through this screw up together in fast time so that you're not bored.
Knock it in, knock it out. 'Cause I don't care.
Look at me, I even found one of my construction chisels to quickly clean out a recess for the strike plate to be even more professional.
So I didn't want to do that, but 20 minutes later, drilled, Lockset in. You can now hide in the closet and get out if you're really sure. All right, thanks for watching today, guys. Those are the doors. This is echoey as crap because I'm in a hallway. But that's pretty much a quick and easy way to do these doors. Minus the painting, it took me about 15 minutes a door. It took me at the shop, it took me about half an hour, 45 minutes-ish to do it. If I wasn't filming, it would have been faster. You get kind of in a groove, you get your stuff set up, and it goes even quicker than that. This took me 30 minutes to put the hinges on, put it in, get the lock sets on. Drilling the hole for that door took about 10 minutes. So I would guess that for all of these doors all in, it was about a day. If I would have actually spent 8 hours on it, I could have banged it out in a day. I didn't have that. All of these doors, I did like 1s and 2s at a time.
A few moments later.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Well, here's our door handles. I guess I did order them.
If you found this helpful, that's great. If you can like and subscribe, that'd be awesome. So I will see you guys next time, and thanks for following along.